Hello and welcome to another video. This is Juan here. Today we're having a look at the apprentice role. Right, where should I start with here? Obviously I've been dealing with apprentices in the last 3 years. It has been an amazing experience indeed, with plenty of challenges at the same time. Right, but let's jump into the matter that concerns us today. That's basically, are you doing enough as an apprentice? Is there anything that possibly or maybe you can do extra? So let's kind of structure this and let's go through certain expectations or commitments that certainly you did sign for when starting the apprenticeship. You might not be aware of them because you haven't read them or you haven't checked it again, but please make sure you have a look at those conditions or commitments that you did sign up for. Right, let me start with this document from the government, in which you can see the main roles and responsibilities for all the parties in the apprenticeship, but today we are going to focus on your side as an apprentice. So first of all, are you collecting or recording the 20% of the job training activities? This is probably one of the biggest how shall I say it probably the most difficult bit to cover in an apprenticeship, because as an apprentice you need to attend the different activities and you need to record them. Now as we can see in this, let me just quickly get my notes right here. As you can see on section number 3 or the statement number 3 of this document, we can see that you are expected to attend all the required of the job training activities and workshops, which is completely fine, right? I know that most apprentices will be fine with it. Then we move on to the section number 4 of this commitment list, where we can see that it says commit to the learning activities required in each module, but it includes any self-study or research that are expected to happen during your working hours. So this has always been a little bit of a topic of debate, right? In the recent update of the funding rules, revising is part of a 20%, but it has only recently been the case of that. So it's probably important to mention that the funding rules usually apply, depending on the year that you started. So the recent funding rules won't apply for anyone starting on the 22-23 or previous academic year. So please make sure you refer to those ones that are linked to the year when you started the apprenticeship. Right. Also, it's probably important to reference or to have a look at that point number 5 when we look at those different coursework and exams. When it comes to studying or to doing a course at university, obviously there is some time that you're expected to be carrying and doing your self-study. So make sure you are spending the right time or during the day or during the evenings in order to revise what you need to revise about your lectures. That'll be my advice. Usually you got this on the leaflet or welcome pack that you will receive at university or at college. And number 6, which here's where we got the main or the most difficult bit in terms of 20%, which is that you as an apprentice are expected to assist the training provider on collecting the evidence for 20%, where that evidence is held by the apprentice. So you are the one responsible on collecting the evidence and providing the right details in each of them. Now again, from a government document, here you can see a template. The main aspects to consider are the date when you attended any sort of training, what time it started, what time it ended, and the description of that. So where you're gonna be noting exactly what was it that you learned, together with the KSBs developed. Now, if not all, most of your training providers are going to request you as well to provide evidence. The whole point of that is that you will start building up a portfolio that you can handle at the end of the apprenticeship. Again, even for anyone out there in the professional world, it's not easy to keep record of CPD, that continuous professional development. So I know how it is, and I know how big of a struggle it is with apprentices to get you realize the importance of that. But in short, the sooner you start getting into the habit of collecting the evidence, the easier for you to do it throughout the years, especially if you're in a long program like level 6, where you will be around between 4 to 5 years in the program. But also quite relevant is like the quality of those entries, the quality of those records are going to help you then later on collecting all the different requirements for the endpoint assessment. So please make sure you look into techniques, ways of collecting all that evidence. All right, so let me just quickly then move on to the next section, which is or the next question in this case, that is, are you attending progress reviews? These are expected to happen every 12 weeks. Again, this is close to me because my role in the apprenticeship consists basically of this, meeting apprentices on a regular basis. Why to attend them? What's the whole point of them? Right, so the main aspect and to consider when it comes to progress reviews is it is an opportunity for you to bring any sort of concerns that you might have in your apprenticeship, but also it's an opportunity for you to reflect and to request possibly some training that might be required for you to achieve the level of performance that you expected in the apprenticeship. All right, so then let me also remind you that it's important that you prepare for that progress review. So it's relevant that you collect certain information such as what progress have you made, what is your plan for the coming few months. So the whole point of those progress reviews is for the other two parties of the apprenticeship, which are the training provider and the employer, to know how are you doing and to understand how you can be supportive. Now, those reviews have the purpose of understanding how to support you. It's not an opportunity to kind of beat you up to an extent or to tell you off for not having doing something, but to understand how you're doing so far and how you're progressing. So please don't take it the wrong way, right? The whole point of those reviews is to, again, understand how you can be supported and how training providers and employers can support you further. A key elements around it is or are the KSBs, those standards that you're expected to achieve, right? So which leads me into the next question, that in this case is, are you tracking these KSBs and are you requesting to have the training that might help you achieve those different KSBs? Obviously, going back to my very first video, this should have been given to you either at the beginning of the apprenticeship, and if not, please make sure you reach out your training provider, specifically your skills coach or skills assessor. And finally, and this might sound a little bit obvious, but are you reminding your environment that you're an apprentice? This is one of the main advice that I provide to my apprentices, because I think that sometimes it's quite easy for the different parties involved in the apprenticeship to forget what does he entitled to be an apprentice, what does he entitled to be working and studying at the same time, collecting the 20% activities, right, and planning all that. So you need to be fully supported. So please make sure you remind, especially in periods like now in the summer, your environment, your line manager, your mentors, especially your line managers, I will say, remind them that you're an apprentice and you're entitled, okay, and expected to be 20% of the time under training. As you're aware, this channel is focused on civil engineering apprenticeships. So let me take you now to this document from the ICE, where we can see the different expectations and roles and responsibilities for each of the parties. Again, today we're focusing on you as an apprentice, so let me go through this. First of all, you need to take ownership of your journey towards the EPA from the beginning of the apprenticeship, from day one. That's mainly linked back to the 20% activities of recording them, on understanding where your gaps are and what sort of training you think you can ask for. The next one is knowing what's expected from you at the end of the apprenticeship during the endpoint assessment. This is quite crucial because it allows you to plan ahead, to look at what is it that you need or is required from you at the end of the apprenticeship. Okay. The next one is make sure that you register and you have completed an ICE training agreement, okay, before the EPA. This applies only to level 6 apprentices. Please take note of that, right? Same as the next aspect, which is monitor and update your own progress when it comes to IPD online or when it comes to CPD records. Now, as you can see, we're looking at those KSBs, so make sure you have the tools to record or to check the progress of your KSBs developments. Finally, you're expected to make use of the employer and training provider support. In other words, if you've got any issues, if you're not certain on how to approach the different aspects you need to cover in the apprenticeship, do reach out. All right, so I think that's all for today. I'll possibly be creating more videos in order to support you, or maybe to provide some guidance or again some of my lessons learned while working as a skills reviewer. But for today, that's all. Please make sure you have a look at the different links in the description box of this video. Obviously, please do share your thoughts, ideas, complaints maybe, or disagreements that you might have with this video. And yeah, I'll leave it there. So many thanks for watching, and remember that knowledge shared is knowledge squared. See you in the next video.